Hello, it's Sarah from Hardcover Hearts, and I'm here with my week of reading wrap-up. This is where I talk about the books that I read this week, what I'm currently reading, and potentially could read next week based on my mood. So I hope you had a lovely day off. If you celebrate Christmas, I hope you had a lovely day. I hope Santa brought you more presents than coal. I am culturally Christian in the sense that we celebrate Christmas here. We celebrate gift giving and having a nice meal and that kind of thing, and enjoying a day off with family. So it was a little hard not to be with my mother and my sister this year. But I had my mother do an unboxing. I told her this is a big YouTube thing, and so I had her take her camera, flip the screen and prop it up so I could watch her open all of her presents. So that was kind of delightful. And one of my presents that I got for myself is in the frame. I'm not sure if you recognized it when you first joined. So I will let you in the comments see if you can figure out what my present was. Okay, so let's get to it. You would think that I would read more given the fact that I have been off all week, but I've really been enjoying the time off and to kind of decompress. And I've actually been watching television, which is something that I really don't do very often. So this has been an anomaly for me. I ended up getting Disney Plus because I wanted to see what was going on with this Mandalorian that everyone was talking about. And this is one of the family traditions we have always had, is we watch Star Wars movies on Christmas Day. So it seemed apropos to start with The Mandalorian. And it was something that my husband and I both really enjoyed, and really well done. I've also been continuing with Mr. Sunshine, which is a Korean drama, historical drama, which is fantastic. So beautifully executed. The acting's amazing. I'm learning so much about the Joseon era dynasty, and so that's all been exciting. And then yesterday we started Bridgerton, which was so much fun. We're not finished yet, but love the diverse casting. Really love that main character. He's fantastic. Eloise and Penelope, though, are stealing the show for me. I just want to hug those girls. Absolutely fun. So it's been really nice. I didn't read anything yesterday until late in the evening, and I finished a few things. So let's get to it, and I'll tell you what I have finished. I have done an amazing job, if I say so myself, at Cloak and Dagger Christmas. I think I've read something like 9 mysteries, and I've just thoroughly enjoyed myself tremendously. So the ones that I read this week, Acqua, Alta. This is the 5th of the Commissario Brunetti series by Donna Leon. So this is set in Venice. Acqua Alta is a situation that happens environmentally where the waters rise, and all of Venice is underwater. And so it's just a matter of how far is Venice underwater, and what do the Venetians need to do to prepare for something like that. And so it was fascinating to read about Brunetti and his family, and how they deal with this occurrence that happens in their area. At the same time as he is doing what he does, which is solving a crime. We get a revisit from one of the very first characters we meet, which is the opera singer, the diva. Her girlfriend is at her apartment, and a doorbell rings, and she goes to answer the door and is brutally beaten by these two men. And it turns out that she is an art historian and is in Venice to work on an exhibition that had been previously done, and to work with some local museums. So there's an art aspect to it, which I've been obsessed with since November. So I loved that. I love the Acqua Alta and how that impacts how the day-to-day life happens. And then you just love Love Commissario Brunetti in his disdain for Venetian politics in the precinct, for his disdain and the challenges of the bureaucracy that happen in the police department, and the power and all of that happens. I just found this to be a return to what I loved. There were a couple ones where I wasn't so sure about them that felt a little dated, but this one felt fresh, and really enjoyed it. So I am continuing on with Commissario Brunetti. So yay there. Then I read one that was so good that I actually gave it to my family for Christmas. I gave it to my mother and my sister. This is The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. Sorry about the glare there. This is a library copy with that horrible plastic cover. Now, this just came out. It was so much fun. So this is set in a retirement community, very lavish retirement community that was reconstructed out of an abbey that was there. And so they've just repurposed a lot of what was already at this abbey. And there's a big controversy starts to happen because this abbey had a cemetery. The man who owns the land and who is the developer of this retirement community wants to expand. And so he wants to buy further land, and he has plans to take away the forest, add other apartments, but he needs to go through a cemetery. So a lot of people are very, very upset that the cemetery is going to be raised, because these were nuns that were buried there, and it's very historic. And so there's that controversy, but this developer is criminal. He is very determined, and he's going to get what he wants done, regardless of these old people who are standing in his way. He really doesn't see them as a threat. Well, he ends up being murdered in his home. And there's enough people that live in this community that are quite interesting characters, and come with a lot of skills, and put together, they are able to help solve this crime, much to the disdain of the police officer and the young officer who really wants to crack this murder case. And so they find a way to bring her into the investigation. I thought that the characters in here are fantastic. The plot was fantastic, really pacey. The story was wonderful. The setting was fantastic. I will absolutely read the next one. This is supposedly number 1, so fantastic there. I will be picking up the next one as soon as it comes out. So those were my mysteries that I read. And I've been reading a lot of first mysteries, which has been delightful, because I think you know that I've caught up with so many of the series that now I'm just sitting around waiting for them to start. And there's such a plethora of great series out there that I'd like to start to see if there's other ones that pique my interest. So we'll see. I think I have a couple contenders in this list. I'm going to do a full Cloak and Dagger Christmas wrap up at the end of this month. That way to kind of put a nice little bow on it and talk about which ones I'll be reading further. Now, next up, I have the 8th book in my series that I do with Leo of A Little Book Life. This is our Anita Brookner series. This is the 8th book. This is Latecomers. This one started so strong. So strong. Both Leo and I were completely enraptured. We read 3 chapters and then check in because Anita, these are always small books. They're usually under 200 pages, but they're very dense. She's a dense writer. She packs a lot in there. And so you don't want to go too far and then be talking about losing some key aspects that you want to talk about. But it does also seem like anything less than 3 chapters is too sparse. So that's kind of our perfect formula for Anita Brookner. The first 3 chapters were remarkable. We open with these 2 Josephs. One is Hartman, the other is Fibbage. They were evacuated from Germany to the UK, and their parents were left behind in World War II as World War II was starting. And so they were part of the Kindertransport. And it started, and it really is what she tried to do here is do an evaluation of how these two characters lived their lives. This is like a full life character study of both of them, and how they approached this problem in different ways. How Fibbage thought about what was going on and what he lacked. Fibbage was always very upset and felt that something was lacking in his life because he didn't know his roots. He couldn't remember very much about his parents, about Germany, about his neighborhood, about the kinds of things that give you that grounding and foundation. So that was all lacking for him, and he always felt that absence. Hartman, on the other hand, is a much more surface kind of almost Zen guy, where the present meant everything. And so he was, in a different way, focused on being happy and enjoying what he had in the moment. Great setup, right? Really great setup. The problem that I had with this one is that I don't think it was one of her best. There are a lot of threads that she puts down that were really interesting, and I expected, and we kept wondering when that was going to reappear, and it never did. There wasn't really a plot. So it felt very meandering, and there was a lot of repetition. So it felt more like she was kind of struggling with a psychological case study, kind of doing this philosophical, psychological analyst kind of thing. There's a lot of dreams in here. There's a lot of talk about innocence. Like the themes were far too forward in the text to make you be able to kind of sink into it. And there were things that she did, which was a classic case of telling, of not showing but telling. Things that I didn't understand how the character would have made that leap. So not as bad as a misalliance, but definitely not one of her best, in my humble opinion. But as I told Leo, even a bad Anita Brookner is head and shoulders above so many authors. So keep that with a grain of salt if you're picking up Anita Brookner's works. Okay, so that's what I completed. Let's talk about what I'm currently reading. I need to get back to Marcel Proust, In Search of Lost Time, Volume 2, In the Shadow of Young Girls in Flower. So we're making progress, just very slowly. Anita took a little more of a forefront. So getting back to this today, I am 2/3 of the way done with Utopia Avenue by David Mitchell. Enjoying this very, very much. He's playing with time. These are also like Anita Brookner. This is strong character studies, without a doubt. But there's plot, and there is really interesting structure. How he's playing with time, where you get to see a tidbit of something that's about to happen, then you go backwards, and then you go forwards again. So there's this, but it never feels jerky. It never feels like you're being manipulated or that you don't know where you are in the story. So continuing to enjoy this and really starting to feel for these characters tremendously. So that's exciting. I am continuing to make progress in Memoirs of a Dutiful Daughter by Simone de Beauvoir. This one I'm kind of reading it at night, and I think I need to switch. I think I need to read more of it during the day. It's a very fast read. I just want to take my time with it, but I think I need to pick up the pace a little bit because I would like to finish this. I would love to have a year where I'm able to say that I read Proust, Virginia Woolf, Simone de Beauvoir, Anita Brookner, some of these heavyweights this year. This feels like it's been a very strong year of going back into the canon and picking some really heavy hitters here. So very, very happy about that. And then I have another audiobook that I started. This is for Cloak and Dagger Christmas. I've never read any Val McDermid. I've never read any of her work, but I know she's so highly respected in the genre. So I have the first one of the Kate Brannigan series called Deadbeat. I'm enjoying it very, very much. Ironically, just like how Utopia Avenue is set in the music world, this one is also set in the music world. Kate Brannigan is a private investigator, and her boyfriend is a rock journalist, and who connects her to a musician who's looking for his previous partner, his romantic and writing partner. So she's going and trying to find where this woman went, and recognizes the hard life that she had after being thrust into the spotlight. So still in the early phases of it, but it's really good so far. Good pace. I really like Kate Brannigan as a character, and everything feels very true to life, and I'm enjoying the way it's written. So yeah, thumbs up for another potential new series. Then for some reason, it was almost like new moon energy or full moon energy. I could not wind down last night. So I was up until like 2 a.m. I finished the Latecomers, and I needed another book to get started. So I picked this one. This has been sitting by my shelf, and I've been meaning to finish this before the end of the year because it's appearing on so many lists, and I get it. From the very, very beginning, the writing is explosive. It is so in your face and dynamic. The voice of this main character. So we have a young Black woman who is working in this office, and she is starting to go on some internet dates with this man. She knows this man is married. He's in an open relationship. And so we're introduced to her as she's starting this conversation with this guy, and she's very sex positive. She knows what she wants, and is. But you also can see that how sex has gotten in the way of her fulfilling things that she wants to do in her career. She has slept with many people at her office, and for interesting reasons but not all. None of them being love. So it's really nice to see a woman in charge of her sexuality in a book about passion and desire, but at the same time, a flawed character. I'm not always interested in sex positive plus, like trauma, that in order to be sexually active, women have to have had some kind of trauma that kind of releases more primal instincts in them. I think that's nonsense. I think women can access their sexuality as men can. So I'm enjoying this very much. And I'm only, it's a very thin book. I'm getting ready to start chapter 3, but it reads very fast. So that's what's on deck. I have the next week off, and I want to read many books. I have some books like Luster that have been sitting on my list that I want to get to because it seems timely. A lot of people are talking about best books of the year, so I'd like to get to some of those. And I have some works in translation, novellas, and short stories that I'd like to get to. So we will see. I do want to say a couple of things. First off is, if you have tagged me, my deepest apologies. I have been trying to be really purposeful in how I spend my time lately because I've been a little stressed out with work. And also I've been having some challenges in my editing software. So I think some of you have experienced before, caught a loop. There was a strange error in one of my videos where it would loop, and all of a sudden the intro would start again, where I'm introducing myself and saying, oh, hi, I'm Sarah from Hardcover Heart, and it would keep going, and it would randomly show up in my videos. And I can't figure out how to fix it, but I've spent hours and hours trying different techniques and different ways of doing it. So if anybody out there has experienced that using Premiere Pro and Rush, I use Rush for quick edits, and then I load into Premiere Pro, please let me know. Reach out to me and see if we can figure out if your solution will fix my problem. But it really has just frustrated me to no end and made it a little bit less exciting to edit and get things up. I still commit to doing my week of reading because I enjoy these and it keeps me on track. It's something that I can consistently do. But I know I'm behind in my tags, and I just want to apologize to those of you who have tagged me. I will try to solve this problem this next week and see if we can get on a better schedule. I'll try to do at least one tag a month is going to be my resolution for next year. Speaking of next year, I also wanted to invite anyone who has not yet picked out their first book of the year. I've got the perfect one. 84 Charing Cross Road. Please consider yourself invited. There is no better book lover's book than to start the year solidly with a fantastic read that has every bit of the impact a book reader would look for. This is actually a nonfiction book. It's an epistolary novel between a woman in New York and a bookshop in Charing Cross Road, London. Marx & Co. And Helene Hanff starts a correspondence with them because she's looking for specific books she can't find in New York. And it's so much heart. It's so funny. There's so many books listed here that I didn't know about, that I only know about because of this book. And it's a delight. I think it's 100 and something pages. This one is a little longer, but it's also a smaller book. My copy, I think, is 98 pages. It's a fast read. It's just a few hours of your time, and this has become my talisman. I read it as my first book of the new year. So please join me in. I'll put a hashtag and just kind of put some photos up of what of you reading it on New Year's Day. Consider yourself welcome to join me and a bunch of people who have started this new tradition of making this the first book of the year. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you continue to stay safe. The pandemic is getting actually more frightening as we go. Please maintain safe social distance if you are with other people. Wear your mask. Wash your hands frequently and do not touch your face. That's it for me for now. Look forward to talking to you later. Have a great weekend. Bye.